Turkish troops have massed on the border with Syria, with operations against the US-backed Kurdish fighters in the country seemingly imminent. The Kurdish militants, known as the Syrian Democratic Forces, have warned that the threats would undermine the fight against ISIS, as well as risking the group's ability to hold thousands of suspected terrorists in prisons across the region. NBC News' Matt Bradley is in northern Iraq, where he says fears of a new humanitarian catastrophe are growing.
No one knows what this Turkish incursion into northern Syria is going to look like, but we are told it's imminent. The Turks have said that they've completed preparations for their move into northern Syria, and the goal of this is to create something like what they call a peace corridor that would stretch about something like 20 kilometers into northern Syria. It would allow the Turks to move some of the Syrian refugee population that they're now hosting in Turkey back into Syria. That's the ostensible goal. But it's also to prevent the SDF, which is a mostly Kurdish force that's been fighting ISIS in Syria, push them away from the Turkish border. The Turks consider the SDF to be terrorists. Now, it's not quite clear what this is going to look like, but the SDF has been fighting ISIS for many years, and they're a battle-hardened fighting group, but still, they're going to be no match for the Turks, who are a technologically advanced and large military. They're NATO allies of the United States. But we may have seen what could be the first signs of this incursion. Just overnight, there was bombings by the Turks along the Syrian-Iraqi border, according to Reuters. Now, Reuters was alone in carrying this. They said that there were no details on deaths or injuries from these airstrikes, and it's not even clear exactly where the airstrikes hit. NBC has yet to confirm that these airstrikes even happened at all, but they could be auguring what could be a massive incursion into northern Syria, and that's caused concern here in northern Iraq. People here are worried that if the SDF is distracted from its fight against ISIS, which even though the caliphate was declared over just in March of this year, that there are so many ISIS fighters who are still in Kurdish or SDF custody, and their families. There's some 60,000 men, women, and children, including many ISIS fighters who are in prison camps and detention centers throughout northern Syria. If they're allowed to be freed, then they could join up with other ISIS sleeper cells in both northern Syria and here in Iraq and revive the group. That would be a nightmare for Kurds here in northern Iraq and for the Iraqi government. It could also pave the way for what could be hundreds of thousands of refugees fleeing all throughout the region. This could be a blistering battle that will have ramifications for the entire Middle East. Matt Bradley, NBC News for Euronews, Erbil, Iraq.